I think sometimes in our times of prayer or in spiritual disciplines or when we're reading our Bible, sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to have a type of experience or to, not that experience is bad. I mean, you've said it before, Charlie, that God is to be experienced, and that's a very good thing. But I think that if we come to our times of prayer or to whatever, like insert whatever spiritual discipline you want to put in, even like the family devotion time, if we come to it with this big expectation that it always has to be this big euphoric experience, I think we're setting ourselves up for just disappointment and really the wrong perspective. Because, I think of like my marriage relationship, and if Lucy and I are saying, hey, we want to connect more, we want to just be closer, maybe we can say, okay, we'll have a date night. That doesn't mean that every single time we're on a date, it's just going to be amazing. The conversation's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. But we have to keep doing that in order to get to those moments. Yeah. And each one, even the boring conversations, are an expression of a much deeper, loving relationship. So, it really is about inviting God into our just ordinary moments of every day. And, God does work in extraordinary ways. We'll have those great moments. But I think that sometimes the enemy seeks to discourage us and actually get us off track by just thinking that if we didn't have this incredible experience, we're a failure. And that can be a discouragement from doing it. But, Cheryl, you were sharing some quote. Who was it?
It's Tim Keller.
Yeah,
good
there we
old,
go.
Good old Tim Keller.
Yeah,
I have this in my.
Oh, please,
I wrote down
please
some
share
thoughts.
it.
So he was talking. I think it's in his book. excuse me, about prayer, and he's talking about how sometimes you have to do something out of duty. We are supposed to connect with our God through prayer. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. We're supposed to connect with our God through prayer. And so we have to do it just out of duty. But when we get through the duty, to the other side of that, that's where the delight is. Mm-hmm. And so you work hard at doing something. That's where the word spiritual discipline comes from, that you work hard at doing something so that you can get to the part where it's we've gone through the hard stuff. I figured out a little bit of how I connect with God in prayer, and now I can actually delight in him, and he can delight in me. He always delights in us, but we can experience that delight a little bit more. I was also going to say something that I do that, this is not prescriptive at all, but I journal a lot. I feel like I have to journal every day, or I feel like my head's all clogged up and I can't get my thoughts out. So I do that in the morning. I read my Bible, and then I journal, and it's kind of stream of consciousness, just I have to get these things down on paper, and it helps me work out, if I'm angry at someone, it helps me work out why and what my part is in that. But also I write down, I journal prayers, and so I often will go back on the weekends and read through my journals and just note prayers that I prayed, because then it shows me when God answers. And so sometimes I go through my journal every week, and I write down the prayers that I prayed, and I write down whatever other themes. But then sometimes within the week, I'll be oh wow, he already answered that, or he's started to answer that. I've asked him about something and he started to answer that. And then sometimes I go through all of those notes that I make at the end of the year as well, and I can see where he has answered prayers. And I love that, because if I pray just randomly while I do this too, but when I pray randomly, I don't remember what I prayed for all the time. And so I don't track that. I don't write down requests. And then it's really cool to be able to see God's hand in my life. And I think that helps me to want to do that more and to want to pray more and ask him for things and pray boldly, because he answers. And it's cool to see. That's good. Journaling is one of my fave things to do.
Yeah.
So that's a really, how do you say it? You have to get through the duty to get to the delight.
Yeah, to the delight, yeah.
And that's why I think the word discipline is fitting. If you're going into it, realize that you're trying to build a discipline. You're trying to build a routine. It is nice to have a sense of okay, I did it. We're not just doing it to check a box, but there is something to be said of I'm trying to build a routine. And so you can kind of feel you checked the box, I did it today. It's not, even if the goal was just something small, because, analogy I sometimes use is I go through seasons in life where I'm exercising and seasons in life when I'm not exercising. And when I'm not working out and it's not part of my life, it's the last thing I want to do. It's like there's no desire at all. And sometimes I'll just like push myself to do it. But if I get in that habit, then it's different. Then it's like if I don't exercise, I feel off. Like I need to do it. And so part of building that routine, building that discipline is like you get to a place where it's no longer, it doesn't take effort anymore. In fact, it's like something you desire to do. So I really do encourage really trying to build that sense of discipline routines, because that will bless you.